Let me first start by agreeing with one key element that was said by the rapporteur, Massimiliano Salini. Indeed, we have a very big challenge in front of us. I also think we need to take into account the new reality where we are. This proposal from the Commission was made last year, and the world has changed significantly since last year. We need, therefore, to have a discussion that takes into account the new geopolitical reality, the new economic reality, but also the uptake of technologies that we've been seeing since February 2026. So let me make 8 short points to make sure that we have a factual discussion in the coming month ahead of us. Point number 1, the Islamic Republic of Iran is blocking 15% of global oil production. If this continues, and it has been continuing for more than 3 months, we will start discussing, as experts already do, about managing oil shortage. Second point, as a result of the Islamic Republic of Iran's choice to block the Strait of Hormuz, our European citizens, who still rely heavily on petrol cars, are exposed to very expensive oil. A lot of our member states have been spending money, subsidizing oil purchase as a result of this, and we now need to fight inflation. We have an inflation crisis again in Europe, provoked by an oil shock as a result of our choice to continue to depend on petrol cars. Third, this may materialize into an energy security crisis, because we only produce 3% of the oil we consume, while we produce 100% of the electricity we consume. And therefore, the debate that we have on petrol versus electricity is not only a debate about the future of cars, but about the future of Europe. Do we want to continue to rely on an energy source that we do not have and that is controlled by bullies? Or do we want to choose sovereignty, to have cars that run on European energy? Fourth point, we see an increase of the shares of the sales of battery electric cars all over Europe. And I know some of us in this room believe that this is only a wealthy country thing. Obviously, Denmark is leading the way. In Denmark, 80% of the cars sold today are battery electric cars. But if you look even at poorer countries, Romania has a higher share of battery electric cars than Italy, even if Romania is much poorer than Italy. So we see that increase all over Europe, and we need to take into account that new market reality. Point number 5, we do need biofuels and e-fuels for our military and for our civilian aviation. And I think as an ENVI committee, but as a parliament, we need to have a strategic discussion and be mindful of the fact that we have a limited feedstock for both biofuel and e-fuel, and we need to make sure that this goes into the strategic sectors, and everybody, or at least everybody who believes in European freedom, the vast majority of this European Parliament, want to make sure that we have domestic European energy for the military as a strategic priority. Point number 6, the future of the car is electric. I would like more people to say that, and I'm really happy that this is not only a social democratic point, this is not only the vision of Renew, this is also the vision of Ursula von der Leyen. So the EPP-elected President of the Commission, who said that to us in this Parliament last September. She said last September that the future of the car was electric. She's right, and she's still right today. Point number 7, the car industry has heavily invested in the transformation. And I think in this room we should have a compromise that is built around the idea that we need to reward the people that are the pioneers. We need to reward the people that made the effort. There are a lot of companies, big and small, that have invested in the change towards battery electric cars, and we should not adopt a regulation that would threaten those investments by the people that make an effort. So any regulatory loophole that threatens this is extremely worrying for us and for the future of our industry. The last point is that we should not make the same mistake as Donald Trump. We know exactly what it is to have petty politics around cars. That is what happened in the US last year. It led to the US federal government making a U-turn against electric cars, and it led to a destruction of jobs in the US car industry. One major OEM, Stellantis, even lost $6 billion as a result of the Trump policy against electric cars. And I hope we can learn from this US mistake, this US choice for the past, and therefore focus on investing in the future. So to conclude, what we want as Social Democrats, we want cars that are made in the EU by EU workers and cars that run on European energy. We want a negotiation that leads to regulatory stability, that is making sure that we in this Parliament can deliver the type of regulatory predictability that our companies, that our investors, that our workers, that our regions need. And it is in this spirit that we will be working to find a compromise with the platform in order to make sure that we have a debate that is based on fact, that is based on data, and that delivers a democratic support to a compromise that provides regulatory stability for the future of our industry. And here again, the future of the car is electric.